What's up guys, it's Victon here with another Animate Guardian guide, and today I am actually creating my own Animate Guardian. I'm updating him, so I thought why not, let's go ahead and make a guide on my updated Animate Guardian. I'm going to go over every single item that I have here, the cost, and also how to create some of these items, and the reasoning behind why I'm going some of these items. So what we're going to do here is literally just go item by item. So we're going to start off with the Soul Taker and the Heartbreaker. So we're actually going to be combining these to make a Kingmaker, which is one of the most important items for your Animate Guardian. So in order to do this, there is a little trick that you can actually do. We're going to go ahead and go over to Navali here and sell a Soul Taker and a Heartbreaker and a Fusing Orb, and make sure that these are not corrupted. If they are corrupted, this recipe does not work. So that's going to give us a Kingmaker. So let's just look here to the Soul Taker. And actually, I think I bought mine for 40 chaos, but up to 45 chaos. So let's just say 45, right? 45 for the Soul Taker and about 2 to 3 chaos for the Heartbreaker. So at worst, you're spending about 48 chaos to get these two items, right? So we're going to go ahead and accept that. We're actually going to go get a wisdom scroll here and identify this. And then we're going to see how much this costs. So these are going from 0.7 to 0.8 exalts, so about 70 to 80 chaos. So you're saving yourself quite a bit of currency by just making it yourself. So why is this item super good? A couple of reasons. One, nearby allies have Calling Strike. What Calling Strike is basically anytime a mob is hit that is under 10% HP by either you or your minions, it will instantly die, even bosses. So basically it's just a 10% more multiplier for your damage, which is very good. Also, nearby allies have 50% critical strike multiplier. That is a huge number for critical strike multiplier, and very good, especially in a build like this where I have 100% critical strike chance on my Spectres. So that is a ton of damage. Also, we have nearby allies have Fortify, so very good for defenses for both yourself and your minions. And lastly, we have nearby allies have increased item rarity. Nothing crazy there, but it is a nice little extra benefit. So this is one of the most important items here. We do not want our Animate Guardian to die because we want all these buffs up 100% of the time. And summoning him after he dies is really sucky, so we don't want him to die. So there's a couple things that we want to do in order to give him a couple extra pieces of gear to make him as tanky as possible. The first being Mask of the Stitched Demon. Now the way this works is it's giving yourself a little bit of regen, regenerates 1% of life per second per 500 maximum energy shield, right? So that doesn't sound that crazy. However, you have so much life on your Animate Guardians that actually it turns out to a whole bunch here. So on my Animate Guardian specifically, I have 84,000 life. So if I have let's say, and we'll go over the chest in a second here, but let's say we have an Animate Guardian that has about 8.4 thousand energy shield. It's actually going to be about 16 to 17% life regen per second just because of this item. So if it ever takes damage, then it's going to instantly regain all of that back because it has so much life regen per second. So very good helmet. This is the most expensive piece here. It is 2.4 exalts. So don't skip this though. You absolutely should not run this if you don't have this helmet, in my opinion. So absolutely you need that helmet in order to get the regen for your Animate Guardian so he can regen life when he gets hit, back up to full instantly. Okay, so that is very basic so far. Now what I have done is a little bit different from some of my other builds. I am actually going for triple curse with this Animate Guardian for mega damage. So I've picked these up for, I think I paid actually about 20 chaos, which is super cheap. And I'd got it with fire, lightning, and a little bit of chaos res. And actually that is not even necessary at all because I'm actually capping my resistance from Animate Guardian without that fire and lightning resistance. The chaos resistance is pretty nice. So if you can get one with chaos resistance, definitely try and do that. But the most important thing here is curse enemies with elemental weakness on hit. And that is going to be able to give me my triple curse because as you can see up here, I also have Stormbrand with Awaken Hex Touch and Frostbite, so that's giving me my second curse. And over here on my ring, I have Trigger level 12 Assassin's Mark, so that's my third curse. So in order to get this on your Animate Guardian, for your Animate Guardian to actually apply elemental weakness on hit, and just real quick, just so you guys know, that is really only for bosses. He's not going to be doing a lot of damage to just random white monsters, blue monsters, or even rare monsters. We're going to be killing those so fast, it really doesn't even matter. This triple curse setup is really for bosses. So I would do this if you're doing bosses and you have a little bit extra currency to spare. So that is the triple curse. But how do we actually get triple curse and for it to work? There's a couple items that you need in your Animate Guardian for it actually to work. First and foremost is Wind Scream. So this is going to give you an additional curse that you can apply. As you can see the last line there, you can apply an additional curse. It's got a little bit of all resistance as well, which we do need, so that is very nice. I actually paid about 10 chaos for these boots, whereas they're normally about 2, but I paid about 10 so I could also get that 7% chance to dodge attack hits while moving. So not a bad corrupt there, and it's pretty cheap. So you can, I think the rolls, let's see, the rolls are, I think it's maybe like 4 to 7, so not too bad. That is not the right price, but get these, you can get them super cheap. I would at least get the 15 to all elemental resistances, and if you want to spend a little bit extra, you can get an implicit like the chance to dodge attacks. Okay, so that's one extra curse. So it actually needs more than that. You cannot just use this one additional curse and use the elemental weakness on hit. You actually need another one. So in order to do that, we're actually going to use a chess piece right here. You can apply an additional curse. However, we also want to go one beyond that, and we also want nearby enemies are blinded. So very good for defenses. You don't have to do that if you don't want. You could just get a chess piece with additional curse. Now if you're going to do that, I would definitely suggest getting in a chess piece with additional curse plus chaos resistance. You can do that, but I'm going above and beyond, and I also want nearby enemies are blinded. So in order to do that, we do need to use an Awakener's Orb. And one quick thing on this, just make sure that when you're getting these and you have an Awakener's Orb, anytime you do anything with an Awakener's Orb, you can only have one of that influence mod. So you can see the you can apply additional curse is a Hunter's mod. And you can also see that I do not have any other Hunter's mod on this item. If there are 2, there's a chance that it will take the wrong mod onto the new item. So again, just make sure you have only one. I have only one with the hunters. You can apply additional curse. So I'm actually going to destroy this item, and it's going to go on to this Astral Plate. Now, Astral Plate is kind of important here. We do need that plus 12 to all elemental resistances. That is going to cap our Animate Guardian on elemental resistances. So I'll kind of walk you through where we're getting our elemental resistances in order to cap him, because it is very important. Again, we do not want him to die. So we're getting 30% from Commander of Darkness, which comes from the Ascendancy. As you can see here, you and nearby allies have 30% elemental resistances. Now we've tested the radius of this skill, and it's about to, I would say, the edge of this this bridge right here. So it's not too big, but it's not too small either. It's a pretty good little size here. Maybe to this ladder, I would say. Maybe to the ladder. So a pretty decent size, and you can always convocate to get your Animate Guardian right back on top of you to get that extra elemental resistances. So he's getting 30% from that. He's also getting 15% from the boots if you got that 15% elemental resistances on there. He is also getting 12% from the Astral Plate, and he's also getting 29% from the Elemental Army support, which if you're not using this in your build, I would consider it. It is very good. It also gives plus 5 to maximum all resistances, so he actually is going to be having 80% all resistances instead of the normal 75, which is very good. And on top of that, this gem is also good for my build specifically, because he's going to be applying a 10% cold resistance reduction to the enemy with that cold exposure. So pretty good for this little support gem right here for Elemental Army. And that is going to bring him all the way up to a total of 86% resistances, which is going to cap him, which is 80% for him. So that is very good. He's only going to have about 26% chaos res, so definitely not the best. If you really wanted to get him cap resist on your chaos, you're not going to get him capped, but you could get him closer by doing just this chess piece with just curse and skipping out on the nearby enemies that are blinded. But from my experience, that is much better to go ahead and do that and just have him have a little bit less chaos resistance. Having this setup with this amount of HP, he is absolutely never going to die. That is 84,000 HP. Yeah, this dude is never going to die. Now, you might not have 84,000 HP, and that's understandable. There's a couple reasons that he's going to have 84,000 HP. Let's go ahead and find my Animate Guardian. So he is a level 21 gem, first off. So it's a level 21 0 gem. That is equal to a level 20 Divergent Animate Guardian, which is going to give him additional HP. Now, the best in slot Animate Guardian would be a 21-20 Divergent Animate Guardian, but those are expensive. They're about 10 exalts right now, so I don't have that. I just have the level 21 Animate Guardian, and that's just fine for me. So I have him right there. Let's check how expensive this is. So it's about 49 chaos to get a level 21 gem. I highly recommend it. Getting him as much life as possible is very important. So we're going to socket that in. I also have Empower, so I'm going to take that out because maybe not everybody's going to have Empower in their setup as well. So typically he actually has 60,000 life in most people's setups with that elemental army. And that honestly is just fine as well. My Animate Guardian lived through a ton with 60,000 HP, and not this exact setup, but a very similar setup. He only died at the very end to a 120% quantity 8 mod, the Feared, where he took a double flame blast crit from Idzubi, Uber Idzubi in the Feared, and he did die to that. That's not going to happen to most people, and I misplayed that. I should have convocated and gotten him out of those flame blasts, so that is honestly my fault, not necessarily the Animate Guardian's fault. So even at 60,000, it is most likely never going to die for any of you guys. If you do want to add that Empower in, he will definitely never die. 84,000 is a crazy amount of life with 80% all res and a little bit of chaos res. So super solid. So that's the setup. Let's go ahead and create this astral plate, and I will show you there might be an additional step here, and I'll talk about it either way because we might have to remove a prefix in order to make this helmet work on this new chest. So in order to use an Awakener, we're going to destroy this item to gain that additional curse, and we're going to do it on this astral plate here for the nearby enemies are blinded. So there we go, we have additional curse and nearby enemies are blinded. Do we have an additional prefix? Okay, so we do not. So we do need to do some harvest crafting on this item. So we're actually lucky in the fact that we can harvest craft this item. As you can see here, we have 3 prefixes. We actually eventually want to use on our crafting bench here. We want max, let's see, max energy, let's just type in extra, there we go. So this is the craft that we want eventually. Gain 9 to 10% of maximum life, extra maximum energy shield. So that is what is working with the max of the Stitch Demon to give him that insane regen because we have so much HP, right? We have 84,000 HP. When we have this craft, he's going to be getting at 10%, 8.4 thousand extra energy shield on top of his 84,000 life, which is then going to be giving him an absurd amount of life regen. So we definitely want this craft, but we cannot have this craft right now, right? And that might happen to you guys. So in order to do that, you need a prefix available on your armor. In this case, I need to remove that 79% increased armor, the defense mod. So I'm actually going to go onto the TFT Discord and do that off stream, and I will come back when I have that craft. If you actually have that craft yourself, feel free to just go into the horror crafting station and remove whatever you have to remove, whether it be life, whether it be defense, any of those, remove it to where you have 1 extra prefix available, and then we will go back to the crafting bench here in a second. So I will be right back after I go to TFT and purchase a remove defenses from Harvest Crafting. Alright, and we are back. I went ahead and went to TFT Discord and purchased a remove defense from this armor, and it worked just fine. So now we have an empty prefix modifier. We're going to go ahead and put this in the crafting bench. We're going to go up here and type in extra, and we're going to do gain 9 to 10% maximum ES as maximum extra energy shield, and we do want that 10% just for as much tankiness as possible, so we're going to roll until we hit that. So 1, 2, 3. So it took us 3 attempts. Not terrible. So overall, this chest, let's see, it cost me about 20 chaos for each of the bases. So that's about 40 chaos. That right there cost me about 12. That's about 50. So then the Awakener's Orb cost me 3.5. So that's about 4 exalts right there, plus the remove defense. So this chest cost me 5 exalts. So not terrible. It is giving me a ton of extra stuff with the defense from nearby enemies are blinded. It's never going to die. I should not ever have to do this again. And also that triple curse with you can apply an additional curse and these gloves, elemental weakness on hit. Now remember that you can do, if you are using a physical build, you can of course do vulnerability on hit. Also very strong. So that is our items. He is a big boy at this point. Let's go ahead and go summon him. So the place that I always go to summon him, which actually you guys can do wherever you want, but this is the place that I go to. Now we're going to go ahead and toss these on the ground if we ever load in. There we go. So we're going to toss these on the ground. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. So you just toss them on the ground, you mouse over it with your Animate Guardian, and we're going to summon them. 1, 2, I need more mana. 2, oh no, we're gonna have mana issues. 3, the slowest summoning ever. 4, and 5. Perfect. So as you can see now, we do have that Fortify buff, which is perfect. That means that he is active and working, and he is good to go. You can see him there walking around. So that is my Animate Guardian setup that I have for this build specifically. This build specifically is a Spectre's build, which is doing a full conversion of physical damage to cold, which is why the Elemental Army is very good for that extra cold resistance shred. And in general, it's just so much extra damage. It's 100% crit chance on my Spectre, so that extra 50% multi from him, the extra Culling Strike, the Fortify. This Animate Guardian is absolutely beefy. He's got 84,000 HP, an extra 8.4 thousand energy shield on top of that. He has max resists for elemental resist at 80% because of the Elemental Army, and he's got about 30% chaos res. Not the best, but for the content that I'm doing, it's totally fine, and honestly for all you guys, it's gonna be fine too, because he has so much HP. It's just fine. So that is the setup. I hope you guys learned a few things. If y'all did, definitely leave some comments in the section letting me know. I think the biggest maybe takeaway for some of you guys, everybody always comments that they always buy the Kingmaker. Definitely don't buy that, guys. Make sure you make it yourself. You're going to save yourself like 20 to 30 chaos. Or if that doesn't matter to you, don't worry about it. But I always make sure I mention that to people because it does save you guys some extra currency. And this, I would say this whole build for my Animate Guardian, let's say it's the 5x for the chest, maybe 7 exalts max, probably 6.5 exalts for the full Animate Guardian setup right now that I have. And just a regular Animate Guardian, I guess I can go over that real quick here at the end. A regular Animate Guardian would not have those gloves. They would have a pair of, honestly, any rare glove that would have a lot of chaos resist and maybe some extra elemental resist, but you don't necessarily need that. As long as you're getting that chest piece that is an astral plate, you are just fine. If you do not have Elemental Army support on your Animate Guardian, I would get as much elemental resist on your gloves as possible. And again, if you're not going the extra curse setup, then you don't need those boots. So I would also suggest, if you're not going the curse setup, the triple curse, getting a pair of boots that have chaos resist and elemental resist. So at that point, you're actually capping his elemental resist and his chaos resist. So very, very good. Very good options for that as well. If you're not going to spending the 6 exalts, you can probably only spend about, I don't know, 4 exalts, 4.5 exalts setting him up if you're not doing the triple curse setup. Yeah, that's all I got on this one. I hope you guys learned a thing or two, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks, guys.